Witches and warlocks, me and you, we have all worked together to create the world that we now live in. Welcome to Can Angels Fly? I'm Nancy. And I know you are saying, what are you talking about, Nancy? Well, what I'm talking about in this video are the treasures that were stolen from God, from the divine, from all, during the heavenly heist millenniums and millenniums ago. I know you heard the story one way or another. Either it was the story of the fallen angels, or the story of the fallen angels that mated with the earthly women. They found them so appealing, so they mated and had children. And those children were giants. They call them Nephilim or Nephilim. I know you heard that story. If not from there, you heard it from the book of Enoch, where that book speaks directly of or tells the tale about the actual heavenly heist and what was stolen in that heavenly heist. And then if you didn't hear it there, you may have heard it from the Greek tale about Pandora's box. And Pandora's box, I want to read the insert from Wikipedia about what Pandora's box is. It says that Pandora's box is an artifact in Greek mythology taken from the myth of Pandora in Hesiod's, Hesiod' works and days. The container, what container? Pandora's box. That container, mentioned in the original story, is actually a large storage jar, but the word was later mistranslated as box. In modern times, an item has grown from its meaning, which is any source of great and unexpected troubles, or alternatively, a present which seems valuable, but which is in reality a curse. What am I saying? That was absolutely horrible reading. Pandora's box was a gift that was given to Pandora. And it looked like this beautiful gift, this beautiful jar. But when she opened it, it was actually a curse inside. Pandora's box is the same story of the fallen angels and them mating with human women and having children. Because when those fallen angels mated with the women and had children, those fallen angels taught their wives and children those taught the mysteries of God, those treasures from the heavenly vault that were taken during the heavenly heist. Anyway, it's all the same story, and I'm sure you can find it in so many different varieties based on the culture and all that kind of stuff. But you get what I'm saying. So I'm talking about that. And during the course of this video, I want to move to answer some of our concerns, some of the questions we have here in life. And what are they? These are just a few examples. Maybe you can come up with a couple of more. And they are, why are many people living below the poverty level? That story, that feeble, that folklore, that biblical story is going to answer why many people are now living below the poverty line. It will also answer why a person is only eligible to earn minimum wage. Just ride the wave with me. It also can answer why you cannot get help with any particular issue associated with any given challenge you may face in life. You know how you may go to a city building or a state building or wherever you may go, a hospital, anything, and you're asking questions based on an issue or concern you have, and nobody seems to be able to answer you. Well, guess what? I have the answer. Another question this particular video will answer is, why is the cost of living going up? Mm-hmm. And the final question this video will answer, but you know you have the right to formulate any question you may have or concern you may have. This video will answer it. Anyway, my last question or concern is, why are some people going crazy? Now, as I move forward, I ask you to ride the wave with me because this is a lot of information I've tried to condense. And I realize that as I prepare, one of the challenges that I face is that, like I was talking about the cultural folklores and stories and fables and tales and the stories, they are in every culture. And so we have all these different characters that are telling the same story. So there's so many different labels. I find myself guilty of trying to present all the labels to every particular aspect relative to anything that I'm doing, which makes it much more complex. So I am currently challenged with learning how to just focus on one set character, one set topic, even though it may have many labels. I hope I made that make sense. So I like to kind of recap and recite my title, possible title for this video, which is Witches and Warlocks, Me and You. We have all come together to create the world that we live in. I want to make that make sense. Here is my challenge. How do I make it make sense? I guess we have to go back to that early tale, biblical tale of the fallen angels. Why were they considered to be fallen? Is it because they found the women on earth beautiful and therefore they wanted to mate with them? You know, traditionally, if a man was interested in a woman, he didn't come empty-handed. So I think that might be the same kind of concept associated with these angels that failed. They stole treasures from heaven and bought those treasures from heaven and presented them to their wives and then their children. Therefore, they became fallen angels. The children that they bared with these earthly women were Nephilim, or Nephilim, giants. Why is this important? The focus here, I'm meeting my challenge, y'all, is to focus on those treasures stolen from heaven. Let's see. Let me name a few. Well, we know that they stole the treasure of the art of metalworking. Metalworking. You know, making knives and breastplates, etc., etc. That basic gift was one of the things that was taught to earthly women and their children from those fallen angels. Metalworking is one of those things that came out of Pandora's box. It looked like it had value, but there was a curse attached to it. Of course, it was stolen from God's heavenly vault. What did you think? Anyway, the next thing was the mining of the earth. Mining what? What? The oil, all the quartz, the crystals, the gems, the minerals, the metals. Yes, the fallen angels taught the art of mining to early women and children, their wives and children. Again, that is a gift that came out of Pandora's box, that art. And that particular gift also had a curse attached to it. The next thing, I'll try to speed up, is jewelry making and cosmetic making and the usage of those things. Yes, even jewelry making and cosmetic making were treasures that were stored away in God's heavenly vault and was stolen during the heavenly heist and brought down to the women of earth and taught to them and their offspring. Interesting. Those two things, jewelry making and cosmetic making, and the usage of those things were also gifts that came out of Pandora's box. That art also had a curse attached to it. Once again, it was stolen from God's own personal heavenly vault. What did you think would happen? And the next thing is astrology and astronomy was one of those treasures that the fallen angels stole from God's heavenly vault, brought down here to earth, presented and taught to their women and their offspring, the children. And yes, it was these two things, astronomy and astrology, were gifts out of Pandora's box. These arts had curses to them. The next thing was the harvesting and mixing of roots, herbs, and compounds that exist within this earth. Yep, those two. Those fallen angels stole these treasures, the secrets, from God's heavenly vault, brought it down to earth, presented it to the women and children. And yes, what am I saying? Yes, that they too, the harvesting and mixing of roots, herbs, and the compounds of this earth, that art was one of those things that came out of Pandora's box and had a curse attached to it. Battling with my own challenges, let me attempt to move on. What I just recited are what I can recall as the basic treasures stolen directly from God's heavenly vault and brought down to man and taught to man through women and their children. Now I have to stop here and insert another biblical story that has to do with this same experience. I just got to. And that is where Eve was enticed by the serpent to bite the apple, to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Yeah, that story. Same concept here. Same thing here. And say it's so hard because there's so many different labels and so many different tales that cover the same story. It's the same story. The bottom line is divine, knows all, created all. Created man upon this earth in this physical suit that has urges and desires. It makes us vulnerable. We're susceptible to ego. We can be greedy, etc., etc. So he knew that we couldn't handle some knowledge, particular knowledge. We'll talk about the particulars of that knowledge in just a moment. However, a third party comes in and introduces that information, offers it as a gift, and we accept. We open that gift thinking that is so valuable. It is, but it also has a curse attached to it. And those gifts and the correlating curses that are attached to them are what answers all of the questions that I opened this video up with, and any that you may have. Just ride with it. Just ride with it. So, I'm just going to read this insert. I don't know how it would fit here, but I got it from www.newdawnmagazine.com, and it just talks about the fallen angels and their contribution to the current state of humanity. And it says the fallen angels, Nephilim or Nephilim, mated with women, having children, the giant race. And he taught them a variety of new technological skills, magical knowledge, and occult wisdom. This suggests that psychic abilities and magical powers were originally an ancient inheritance from the angelic realm given to early humans. I go on to say, in the Luciferian tradition, this is known in spiritual and metaphorical terms as the witch blood. This was just, I cherry picked and got information from that particular site. And why is that relevant? As I suggested just moments ago, that I was going to expose why these treasures that were stolen are so significant. Why are they so significant? It is because we who, me, you, and everybody in humanity who has ever been, is now, or will be, are in a self-contained ecosystem. This world, this place, this realm, physicality. And this world, or this realm, and its highest potential, I'll say, is only accomplishable and manipulative, bold, you know what I'm trying to say, if you know the rules to the game. Prior to the fallen angels, prior to Pandora receiving the box, prior to Adam and Eve biting that proverbial apple, humanity depended on divine to supply all their needs. They were just dumb. That's okay. But after Adam and Eve bit that proverbial apple, after Pandora opened that box, after, what's the other one? You know, they partook. Then we became aware of the knowledge of good and evil, the instructions to this plane, and how to take it to its highest potential. The issue exists then, as it does now, that we are in this physical flesh suit that's susceptible to ego, is highly demanding. We can be selfish and greedy and narcissistic, you know, and on and on and on. So here we are today. All the witches and warlocks, me and you, working together to create the world that we exist in, and our offspring will exist in the near and distant future. So I guess I can talk about who are the witches and the warlocks. I kind of addressed that when I was just reading that insert from www.newdawnmagazine.com. And it said, this suggests that psychic abilities and magical powers were originally an ancient inheritance from the angelic realm given to early humans. So I refer to them as the elitist, that group, that bloodline. They call it the witch's blood line, you know. So many labels. Get you confused. That's why we're confused. But that's okay. If we can just get to the gist of the story, we don't have to worry about the labels. Those are merely variables. So, what am I saying? That the witches and warlocks, those that have expertise, is a good term, expertise in these basic arts are considered the witches and warlocks. They are the elitist families, the elitist bloodlines. And then it's me and you. Let me talk about me and you. How are we significant, just me and you? Well, we're significant because I gotta try. I'm in the middle of my challenge. I gotta try to slim it down. I'll give an example. I am playing right now the role of one of the women that existed in those historical times. And those angels come down and they find me so appealing, so alluring. They want to mate with me. So I partner up with one of them and I give them an offspring, a Nephilim, a little giant baby. And the angel that I've mated with, partnered with, he loves me. And he's going to give me a gift. And he gives me and the baby the gift of astronomy and astrology. He teaches me and the baby these gifts, these arts, these disciplines. Okay. As my education advances in this particular discipline, I hit a point where I can go no further. The reason why I can't go any further is because I need others in order to manifest the heights in which that particular art can take me. That's just an example. As I try to move on to the next part of this video, just ride with me. Because I'm exposing something here. What am I exposing? Answer to some of our questions and concerns that we have here in life. Remember, you can feel free to formulate your own question. This video should answer it if I can just get it out. So, back to me and my story. With my fallen angel and our offspring, that Nephilim child, we are recipients of learning astronomy and astrology. That's why I'm here on YouTube doing that kind of stuff, you know. So, I hit this place, this line. I can't go any further. Why? Because I need others. Who is the other? You. If not you, you. If not you, then you. Somebody, maybe all of you, I need in order to move me forward. Why is that? Because I'm only human. I can only be in one place at a time. I only have so much strength, and I can only process mentally so much stuff. So I need some other villagers, some of the people that live in my community to help me move forward. Remember, this is me back in the ancient day. You have to ride with me now. I'm trying to make it make sense. And I'm dealing with my own challenges here as I try to deliver this message. So, back to the story. Back to the soap opera. So, I go to my nearby neighbors. Well, first I have to formulate a plan. A plan about how I can get these other people in my village, my community, to help me move forward and execute these arts to take them to the heights in which they can go. I'm already powerful in the village in comparison to the others that did not mate with angels. I'm already powerful. My child is already powerful. But we need help. If the others, the villagers, my neighbors, know that I'm using them, they're not going to want to move forward and help me. If they are aware that I'm attempting to use them, then they're going to want something in return. If they are aware of the abilities and the knowing and the knowledge that I have, the power that I possess, and what I am teaching them is a branch off of what I know, then they too will recognize that they have power. And now we're in a power struggle. Who is the head? I must maintain my sovereignty. So let's see if I can move forward and make it make sense. I'm challenged here now, so you're right the wave with me. Let me recite this one more time to kind of pace myself. It's witches and wizards. I've defined them as the elitist group. They have access. They come from a particular bloodline, the witches' bloodline, in which they have been directly or are directly associated with particular bloodline, family bloodline, that has taught them one or more of these basic arts or disciplines. And then it's me and you. We're in the blind. We weren't a part of either of those, which is bloodlines, the elitist lines. So we didn't learn. We just were lay men and lay women. But those witches and warlocks, they all hit this line, this crossroad, where they couldn't move any further and use the art that they had been working on and take it to the highest level without hiring, getting the help of, or using me and you. So the witches and warlocks manipulatively hire, it's another word I'm thinking of, me and you, to assist them to take that art that they have been working on to a whole nother level. By them manipulating me and you to assist them in further advancing, they have been able to maintain all of the power and control century after century. So let's bring it up to date. Time travel. We're here, 2018 and beyond. Pandora's box has been opened for millenniums. Adam and Eve had been bitten that apple millenniums ago. You know, the fallen angels came and gave over these treasures to early women and their offspring millenniums ago. Now we're here at a time when many people are living below the poverty level. When people can't make earn more than minimum wage. And when you can't get help with any particular concern or issue you have, nobody knows nothing. Or why is the cost of living going up? And why are so many people going crazy? Remember, I need you to hold on to this, is that the things that were in Pandora's box, those treasures, seem so valuable. However, each of those arts, each of those treasures, each of those disciplines were stolen from God's private heavenly vault and brought down to mankind who couldn't handle it. Why? Because we're in the flesh. So there was actually a curse attached to each of those arts and disciplines that has brought us to where we are. and answers all of my questions and your questions. So, as mentioned, there were some basic things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 6. I've written down 6 basic. I'm dealing with my challenges now, y'all. I need y'all to ride with me. Right? Okay. There were 6 basic treasures, and I'll highlight them. Metalworking, mining, jewelry making, cosmetic making. It was astronomy and astrology, as well as harvesting and mixing of roots and herbs and the compounds of this physical realm, all of which are the mechanisms, I'll say, that run this particular structure, this plane, this dimension, this world. So many labels. And let me see in short to make sure that you understand. All these things that I mentioned, those basic treasures, are all the things that have allowed us who, every individual in humanity overall, to advance technologically. Bottom line. Okay. Let me see if I can do this transition real quick, because I don't want this video to be very long. I do appreciate you riding away with me. Where am I heading now? What I want to do, I need you to use your imagination. And all I need you to do is imagine a beautiful box, golden lace, beautiful. You can look at it and say, oh my God, it is a priceless piece. And then open the box up. Inside the box, there are 6 golden cubes. Each of those golden cubes is one of these basic treasures stolen from God's heavenly vault. Take out just one of those cubes. It's absolutely beautiful. Looks like it's solid gold or gold sheen. But wait, you feel the fire. It begins to burn. And it begins to unwrap, unwind. And we can say that this one is metalworking. We get the basic instructions associated with metalworking. But that one little box, let's say it's about 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. That goes to make a cube. All of a sudden, it begins to morph. The warmer it gets, the hotter it gets, the more that you extract from it. First, you extracted it from the box, Pandora's box, and it began to warm. And you began to gather and get the information about metalworking. Once you learned one rule to metalworking, it began to like a Rubik's Cube, a Petric cube, and it began to take on all these dimensions. And that one little 2 by 2 by 2 cube, all of a sudden, is the size of this earth. That's just one cube out of 6. What am I saying? How can I make this make sense? That one little golden cube, this 2 by 2 by 2, that is the cube associated with metalworking, is not as it seems. Once humanity was aware of that metalworking even existed, it continued to grow. It's like this this Greek story. I don't even know the name of the creature. It was a creature. This is a side note, interjected right here. It was this creature in Greek mythology where, I can't think of the name of it, where it had many, many heads. And when a knight would go up against it and try to slay it, they would cut its head off, and all of a sudden that creature would grow, for every head that was cut off, it would regenerate double the amount. Double the amount. The amount. The treasures, the art of metalworking. Once you learn one thing about metalworking, it doubled. Once you learned those two things, it would have quadrupled, and so on and so on and so on, for possibly millenniums. Now we are where we are. The same thing exists if you go back down in that Pandora's box and bring out the next cube of all the rules associated with mining the earth and where to mine and what to mine for. That 2 by 2 by 2 cube is the exact same thing. For every rule that you learn, 2 more come up, 2 more realizations, 2 more sets of knowledge, and it keeps growing and manifesting and yielding and folding. The same thing with the jewelry making, the cosmetic making, astronomy, astrology, the harvesting of the roots and herbs and the compounds of this earth. It doesn't sound like a lot. Not at all. Why do we have these questions that have been unanswered? Well, as I mentioned, we're here. We've time traveled, and we're back here. Now, what I'm about to do is I am about to talk about where we are today. Remember, the witches and warlocks of the past and the present. At some point in time, they hit these barricades that they can only get by manipulating you and me to assist them to move forward. So I'm about to read off modern branches of those basic historical treasures that came out of Pandora's box. Now, I don't have them in any particular order because there are so many. There actually are 22, to be exact. And even though I say that there are 22 treasures, no. Let me say that again. There are 5 basic treasures that was stored in Pandora's box that was released. Once those basic 5 were released, they multiplied, gave birth to their own offspring, I guess. I can say it like that. Dealing with my own challenges here. But let me speed up. Video much longer than I had wanted it to be. And so, how can I say this? I just want to make sure that you understand what I'm saying. So I got to try to say it right. That's my challenge. Is that metalworking is a discipline. And we have academics that help us learn the discipline of metalworking. But in just that discipline of metalworking, there are a mass amount of sub-disciplines just under metalworking. Now, As mentioned, we are so far removed from when Pandora's box was originally opened, when Adam and Eve bit that proverbial apple, when the fallen angels brought that information to the early women and children. We are so far removed, maybe millenniums. So, how many branches exist as a result of those original 6 treasures? I'm about to tell you. And the only way that you can truly get an understanding about what I'm trying to explain here in this video is for you yourself to Google or go to www.wikipedia.com and look up academic disciplines or academic fields. These are the branches and sub-branches related to the first little basic 6 little treasures that came out of Pandora's box. I'll go ahead and read them, and then maybe I can make it make sense in closing. In the discipline of art, there are 12 sub-disciplines. But this is the catch. How can I say this? Art is, I'll use this one as an example. Remember, Pandora's box, when it was opened, one of the little golden cubes that came out taught cosmetics, the making of makeup. That's an art. Art is the academic discipline. Also, within that little cube, it was also jewelry making. That is an art. The discipline is art. Under art, there are 12 subcategories. Don't sound like a lot, huh? But each of those 12 subcategories got subcategories. Let me stop right here because I want to kick a field goal with this right here so you understand as I run through this list what I'm saying. We've identified the basic category, the overall category, the overall academic discipline, or the academic field, here we go with all these labels, is art. Now, back in Pandora's box, it was just introduced as cosmetic and makeup making and jewelry making. Art, okay. We're bringing it up today, art. Thousands and thousands of years later, art is broken up into 12, boom, 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 disciplines. But in each one of those disciplines, each one of those sub-disciplines, those 12 sub-disciplines have their own subcategories. Again, this will only make sense to you if you go to www.wikipedia.com and look up academic disciplines or academic fields. Why is this important? Why this example is so important? Why I need to kick a field goal with it is because it shows just how many, they call it I can't think of the name of it. Again, going back to that mythological Greek creature where you cut off one head and 2 come. You cut off 2, 4 come. That particular creature. Art has 12 disciplines. And then there are multiple sub-disciplines. Why can't it's a complicated subject to cover because I want to answer these questions. I'm trying to do it all at one time. I got to stay focused on one thing. Why is it relevant? Because just art itself, we think art is so innocent, so innocent. But it has 12 various disciplines under art. What do I mean? I think that'll help drawing, painting, photography, different things like that, filmmaking. And You got to go back to this. These are the tools of the witches and the warlocks. They hit this point where they couldn't go any further. They needed you and me to help them move it forward, but kept us in the blind so that we didn't know that we were performing these magics or using these arts. Wow. If you can go to Wikipedia, you can see. I don't know how to make you see with just words. So I'll go on. I couldn't kick my field goal. Anyway, I'll go on to the next because there is a list, and I would like to be up under an hour. The next academic discipline is history. How many categories of history are there? There are 19 categories of history. Each of those 19 categories of history have subcategories. Why is it important? Relative to the art and the history, about not only the disciplines themselves, then there are the sub-disciplines under each of those disciplines. It is important because this is the first, meet the first challenge, Nancy. The first challenge is, remember, those witches and warlocks hit a point where they couldn't move further, and they had to get you and me to help them without us knowing we're helping them. Those subcategories, those sub-disciplines are some of our jobs. We don't know about all the other parts or components in detail that go with history. Or if we're in the arts, we are experts in our field, our discipline. We know very little about the other components or aspects associated with the discipline of art. Therefore, we hold a small portion of the magic spell that the witches and warlocks, the master, the elitist, use to manipulate this world. Because remember, it's all about being able to manipulate this world. It's all magic. The next one, I'm just going to read them off, is language and literature. Language and literature has 8 sub-disciplines. And there are, pay attention, now we're talking about language and literature. There are actually 6,500 languages that currently exist in this world. And there's a reason. It's what I'm trying to get you to see. Now, language, I guess, is a good example. Because the question is, how many languages do you understand? You know? And then the words that are spoken or written in any given language, do you understand those words as individual entities and the power that they hold? Well, not many people do. Only certain people, expert people. And those are the people that get paid a larger amount. So let me try to answer this because, again, the time is going past and I fell in my challenge. But why are so many people only eligible to make minimum wage or just barely above it? Why are so many people living below the poverty level? Because they are me and you. And we are not proficient or professional or experts in any one of these fields or subdisciplines. I'm not even going to go into what we are, but We are not professionals, nor experts, nor specialists in any of these particular disciplines or subdisciplines. Yes, we are directly related to those that are masters and experts and witches and warlocks, moving forward and further advancing and using that particular treasure, that art, to its fullest potential. But we don't know it. And because we don't know the works that we do, wish I could put this back on my head. Because we don't know the works that we do, we aren't eligible to be paid. Now, how do we present to this world that we are aware, that we know how to manipulate at least some discipline or some portion of a discipline? Well, it is shown by gradually graduating and earning degrees and accolades. You have physical papers to present to say that I have mastered this particular discipline. Side note, I can't go past it without saying it. So, what's happening to our children in our educational system? They are not able to successfully show that they are being indoctrinated, learning a particular discipline proficiently in order to gradually graduate to the next level and get the next level of information to help them hit maximum potential. And guess what? Just one particular discipline or subdiscipline. Therefore, can't make the money. Pay attention, you can't make the money. You're stuck with minimum wage or barely above it. The majority of humanity is living below the poverty level. Now, another thing that's happening, I want to answer this question, is why can't you get no help? Why can't nobody give you no answers? Well, as mentioned, for every discipline, the examples thus far are art, history, and language and literature. For each discipline, doesn't matter. It can be any. I'm going to go over the other disciplines. You have a question or a concern. Why can't you get any help? One, it's not free because they have been indoctrinated. They have gradually gathered the information, the mastery of that magic or that spell or those rules of this earth, this place, and will only allow you to hire them to use that knowledge. How can I say it? And so, like I said, those are the witches and more of warlock level as you move up. But then it's people like me and you that are still a part of this, but we're blindly doing these works and don't know our power. No, we don't have degrees or accolades. We don't have papers to offer to present to show that we moved up gradually, graduating and receiving those degrees, those accolades once again. So we don't get the monetary rewards for that. And we're left in a particular economic bracket. Why can't people help you address a particular issue? The other is just me and you. We're not aware of our power. If we get a job in a particular arena, all we know is that particular job and how to fill out those particular papers and push those same damn keys all day long. You don't even know what department your field may cross with, or what the actual overall discipline you are sustaining on your back. You don't even know it. And I'm going to go ahead. And so that's why you can't get any answers, because the people really don't know. All they know is the same letters that they push every day, the same papers that they fill out every day. And if they move out their line of work, they are lost. So they can't even refer you anywhere. I know you heard, we don't have the legal right to refer you. That is not our department. If you have any concerns, you have to go. You have to go see a specialist. Anyway, let me run through and state these other academic disciplines, and they are philosophy. Philosophy has 11 disciplines, and of course, subdivisions as well. I mean, sub-disciplines. It's the discipline and the sub-disciplines. And some of the sub-disciplines got, what we can call them, sub-disciplines. And again, it take you to go to Wikipedia, and it only take a moment. Go to wikipedia.com and look at academic disciplines. Go to the bottom of the page and see it says order of academic disciplines or list of academic disciplines, and just scroll down. You ain't got to read them, but hey, if you really want to entertain yourself and realize the jobs that are out here or the careers that are out here or the arts to be learned in order to be mastered in a specific field. Where the money at? That's what you need to look at. And that makes you understand and leads you to understand why the majority of humanity is living below the poverty level. Even though you are supporters, 100% supporters of the elitists, the witches and warlocks, but you don't know your power. So, anyway, and you ain't got the accolades or credentials or whatever the case may be to present to the world to say that you are trained in a particular field or with a particular gift out of Pandora's box. I hope this makes sense. Ooh, I got 4 minutes left, so let me go through it. Anyway, theology has 8 disciplines and subdisciplines, of course. Social science has 4 disciplines. Economics has 51 disciplines and sub-disciplines. And then there are the sub-disciplines. These are all specific. This is what you got to be. These are all specific fields of study. All that fit under one of these 5 basic gifts that came out of Pandora's box. The gifts that came out of Pandora's box, although hold a lot of value. Why do they hold a lot of value? Because they tell you the rules, the cheat sheet to this world and to this realm. Yes, that's what it's all about. But we don't know it. We have to wake up and to see how can we combat or change something that we can't see. Oh, how I need to kick a field goal and I just couldn't. Anyway, the next one is human geography. It has 19 disciplines, subdisciplines, and then subdisciplines. Each are particular fields of study. Each are a part or has or contains researches, develops, implements a magic power that originally came out of Pandora's box. How about law? Has 13 disciplines. And then political science has 18 disciplines. Now, you can't forget that I'm just going to read how many branches of these are the branch of knowledge is art, history, language and literature, philosophy, theology, social science, economics, human geography, law, political science. These are branches of knowledge. And under each one of these branches of knowledge are what we may call the disciplines, which can get into under that particular branch of knowledge and specialize in, become an expert in, get accolades in, gradually move forward and get a degree in, gradually doing what? Gathering the information toward a particular field. Not many people know the complete field of any given branch of knowledge. Those that are dominating the world have a very intimate surrounding or social group, family, and they know, oh, I just thought about something. I'm gonna finish. I want to say this. I don't even know, because it just came to mind when I was trying to talk and get this idea out, this whole concept out, that they say there are like a handful of extremely wealthy families, bloodlines in this world. I'll say maybe 6. How many gifts came out of Pandora's box? I think it was 6. Now, all of that is rough estimates, but I find it interesting that it's really, really close. Even if I gave a rough estimate, that's really, really close. And if you go find the facts, see, I can't look up everything. I can't do everything. The fact is, what am I trying to say? Each of those very, very wealthy families, very, very powerful families, may hold one of those little boxes that came out of Pandora's box. One family may hold one family in their lineage, in their bloodline, may hold the knowledge of mining earth. And even remember that one little box began to grow and to double and quadruple. That once that information was out and began to be executed and used, that it grows and it multiplies. That family line was not only over safeguarding that one little treasure out of Pandora's box of mining the earth, all the information that folded out from the expansion of that box due to partaking in it, executing it. That same family has been responsible for categorizing, cataloging all unfolding information throughout the centuries. That's why wealthy families work in lineages. They categorize the knowledge that comes out of that one particular treasure, if I'm making it make sense. And then the other family, if it's 6 families, extremely wealthy elitist families, bloodlines, which is bloodline, and there are 6 little ornaments within Pandora's box, well, the second family may have something to do with metalworking, and all that has to do with metalworking. They safeguard that Pandora's box, and they catalog and categorize and keep track of all that unfolds from it, and uses all of the wisdom that comes out as it unfolds. And they can actually see what's going to take us, but they don't care, because remember, they're in their physical vessel and therefore susceptible to ego and greed. Remember, Pandora's box cannot be closed. And then there's another family line, to make sure you understand what I'm saying, that got that little cube out of Pandora's box, and their family line has been responsible for that one little cube. And that one little cube was about astronomy and astrology and all that it consists of or will consist of. And they are responsible for keeping that treasure and all that it entails as it opens up and expands and gives more and more information about this realm and how to take that particular art or discipline to the maximum, a maximum capacity to get the most out of it at any given time. Anyway, back to these disciplines. In economics alone, I think I mentioned there are 51 disciplines, plus there are the sub-disciplines, plus the sub-sub-disciplines. These, each one, 51, plus the subcategories, plus the sub-subcategories, are particular fields of study. One way or another, somewhere in this we fit. If you become a master, you get paid more. If you don't understand what you are doing or what your gift is, you're left with minimum wage. Nobody can answer your questions or concerns, because either they have taken an oath, because they have gradually graduated and gained the accolades and recognition for being expert in one of those particular fields of study. And or a person doesn't know what their power is or what role they play. Therefore, all they know every day, all day long, is the same damn buttons they push in, day out, day in and day out, in the exact same papers. You move them out of their place of employment or the type of work they do, they are lost. Let's see what else we have answer here. I never answered why is the cost of living going up and why are people going crazy? Well, let me answer why is the cost of living going up. The cost of living is going up because what is happening in humanity is that there's this big gap. This big gap between those that know and those that don't know. And remember, Pandora's box, although the contents looks valuable, it is valuable. However, it has a curse attached to it. The time is quickly approaching that it is time to pay the Pied Piper, the curse. And so the witches, the warlocks, the elitists, the witches' bloodline are attempting to gain all that they can gain in this time, where those that don't know who they are or their power, they don't have the accolades nor the degree, are just lost. And they don't understand. Those that are lost don't understand the power of these gifts, the power of this knowledge, and where it is taking us. And due to the facts associated with all these gifts, all this is the knowledge. In the book was the book of Genesis, the biblical story, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This is the basic foundation of it. And this is where all the money and the technological advances and the sustaining of one's life exist. It's in their hands. And in order to implement these disciplines, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, it is shifting what is actually value or wealth into the hands of those elitists, those witches, those warlocks, while the others that have no idea what's taking place are working for fiat, paper money that has no value. And therefore, it is causing the cost of living to go up. The cost of living is only going up for those that don't know. And why is that? Because what they're really doing is, how can I say, running you dry, running you out. You have helped them cross that line that they couldn't cross. They're past it now. All operations are in play. And each of these disciplines have categorized all the findings, all the unfoldings, and has set things like on autopilot. Now they don't need those that don't know their power. So they're running you dry, running you to the ground with illness and sickness and da-da-da-da-da-da. And then they tell you that it costs all this money, but the truth of the matter is the money does not have any value. The only value is relative to these things that have to do with the use of those gifts out of those treasures out of Pandora's box, or those or the knowledge from the tree of good and evil. It's so much information to his heart. Anyway, I'm gonna just finish this so that you can get it. Go to Wikipedia, look up academic disciplines, the outline it said, of academic disciplines, and maybe you'll understand. And all that you see is either the documentation, the archiving of the findings associated with the use of those 5 basic treasures that were stolen from God. Once that Pandora's box is open, each one of those 6 treasures unfolded. As they began to unfold, more and more information happened, more and more growth happened in this life. And so these disciplines were responsible for documenting. This is categorization. Document, this is how much those 6 expanded out. So it had to categorize, keep track of, learn how to work it and mix it and use it and then execute it and contain it. These are our experts, our specialists. These are the people that get paid. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't know, you don't get paid. And you're not even respected actually in society, in the world. Anyway, let me finish, just in case you don't go to Wikipedia. As I spoke, law has 13 disciplines, political science has 18 disciplines, plus subdisciplines and sub-subdisciplines. We have psychology. Psychology, y'all, has 66 disciplines, also subdisciplines and sub-subdisciplines. Why is that so relevant? And why do I pause here? Because psychology is about studying the mind, the conscious and the unconscious. Why is that necessary? Remember, we're talking about magic and the manipulation of this RAM and all that's in this RAM. So they understand how your mind works, so they can do what? Work you, manipulate you. And then there's sociology. There's 128 disciplines, plus subdisciplines, plus sub-subdisciplines. Why do I pause here? Because sociology, if I'm not mistaken, is the study of individuals in society, the people, and how they relate to one another, how they interact with one another, et cetera, et cetera. Why is it so important for them to know? Once again, it's about manipulating others, people, cultures, and pour into racism. What fuel do you need to put down for X, Y, and Z to happen? This is a part of spell making, y'all. Y'all gotta pay attention, or not. The next discipline is natural science, and it's broken down into 56 disciplines plus what, y'all? Sub-disciplines and sub-sub-disciplines. I ain't gonna say that sub-disciplines and sub-sub-disciplines no more, but it stands true for just about the remainder of what I'll read. Chemistry, we refer to that in the medieval times as alchemy, is or has 49 disciplines. I ain't gonna say it. Sub-disciplines, but sub-sub-disciplines, all specific specialties. Then there's earth sciences. It has 9 disciplines. Then space science has 8 disciplines. Physics has 28 disciplines. How about the formal sciences? There are over 225 disciplines and sub-disciplines. 225 formal sciences. Formal means finalized. We have this set spell. We know every time we do it, it's going to turn out the same effect. Anyway, next is the mathematics. There are 6 disciplines and a considerable amount of subdisciplines relative to mathematics. Then there are applied mathematics. There are 12 disciplines, and once again, there are a considerable number of subdisciplines. And then there are statistics. There are 2 disciplines. And then finally, applied sciences, engineering, and technology has 7 disciplines and a mass mass number of subdisciplines. Now, as I talked about this, I couldn't kick a field goal. So once again, I plead with you just to take a moment to go to Wikipedia.com and search for academic disciplines and or academic fields. You're looking for where it says at the bottom of the page or in the middle to the bottom of the page where it says an outline of academic disciplines. All of these, all that you see are specific fields of study. Those 6 little treasures from Pandora's box have expanded to all of that which you will see. And it answers the question, just about any question you have, about why humanity is where they are now. Thank you for coming here to Can Angels Fly and hearing me do a ramble. Bye.